How we doing? My name is Damian Osgood. I'm looking for an attorney for matters against my ex-landlord, Michael Jacobson, his attorney, David Hirshon, and Curtis Miller of Miller's Fitness. This case will show fraud, forgery, fabricated contracts, fabricated loans, inflated numbers, and fraud. I did file this case again with the Board of Overseers of the Bar. They found 4 things. Start with that so people can see that my complaint raised legal. I'll just let you guys read it. Candor towards another person, fairness to opposing party and counsel, truthfulness in statements to others, and misconduct. A lot of emails and forgery and fraud was committed, and I'm just going to show you because this is, I figure, the easiest way to do it. On October 3rd, for Farmington, I'm evicted $50,553.26. October 3rd, for Wells, $80,000. Now, I contact Michael, and I say, hey, can I sell to Miller's? And he says yes, so then I tell Miller's and give Miller's the contact info. On October 4th, Curtis Miller emails Michael Jacobson. I don't want to get in the middle of anything and don't want my name to be used. However, I am not sure who I should even be talking to in order to purchase these gyms. And I've given him a price. He said you are aware he is selling and that he doesn't owe you anything, any money, and owns everything he has. Now, I own all the equipment. I just don't owe. He knows I'm selling them to make payment to Michael. To pay Mike Miller's. That's why I said he was willing to sell both of his hands, but has since changed his mind about Wells. Right, so I'm going to sell Farmington and keep Wells because now Michael's paid and I can continue with my coffee shop. If there is no truth to this, then I don't feel right about purchasing this from Damian. We are both busy men, so hopefully this will get some answers. This is Exhibit G that is sent in this affidavit that I'll bring up here in a second. On the 6th, Michael to me, I just got a message from Curtis Miller saying he's trying to make a deal with you. I told him I am willing to work with you. So on the 6th, he says he's allowing me to do this. Now, over the next few days, Michael leads me to believe that I'm selling the gyms to Miller's. Let's see, so... And then on the 11th, I am to meet Miller. And when I arrive, Curtis just writes to me and says, I'm not going to make it. And he's going to meet Michael later. And then Michael has me served this one court date. So it's October 11th. I'm served this court date of the 20th, which I believe is for both things. So I got the eviction for 50 and one for 80. So now we're at the 11th. Michael has me give Curtis my coffee shop in this deal for no extra money, and I signed some paperwork for that, and I am given the court date of the 20th. Miller's, after Curtis says we are moving forward, I text him and I ask him with deal, and Michael is going to try and send Curtis a lease by morning, which would be October 12th. Curtis Miller also says banks have everything they need, because I've been turning in all the banking and everything needed to make this work, and they will know better this afternoon when I'll be getting paid. So, right, when I'm going to be getting paid. Curtis meets with Michael, and we need to meet to get a purchase agreement signed. Michael is working on lease. Now on the 12th, Curtis tells me his lawyer needs to update a couple things and that his bank is working on it. He just is waiting. Just don't want Michael to avoid a deal. Curtis tells me he has to change bank and lawyer purchase agreement if I'm to get a $5,000 loan, because I'm asking for $5,000 down so I can get a U-Haul so I can move my stuff out. That's my personal stuff from the gym because it's being sold. Michael tells me on the 12th he's working with his attorney to get this done. He's working on documents and waiting on Miller's to be done with purchase agreement. Michael hopes to have things wrapped up by Friday. Now, this is... Okay, so on the 10th and 11th, Michael and his lawyer... Here we go. On the 10th, this is Michael Jacobson, and on the 11th, Mr. Hirshon, have filed affidavits saying, I am attempting to sell my assets to Curtis Miller. The defendant has further stated he has sold the assets subjected to security agreement, financing statement. Claimants have not received any funds and have not approved a sale or new lease. So on the 11th, they haven't approved of anything. But Michael over here is telling me this is what we're doing. And then they both tell me we're buying it and we come up with agreement. And then on the 11th, they serve me the same time they're serving this. He also uses, so he has not received any funds. He just got a $10,000 payment. I haven't sold anything. So then they want to make sure they can freeze my bank accounts and place holds their name on my deed or liens on my deed, transfer or other way make his property unavailable to satisfy judgment against him. So my house, they think I'm going to sell and flee state and not pay them. Defendant has, this is being used against me. This is all based off Mr. Hirshon's email from Michael. You can pay, so I'm selling my house and I'm leaving this shitty state. So I hope we both can come up with an agreement. And we'll come back to this. So this is submitted by Michael. You'll see nothing from me. You'll see no indication it's from me. Now anything else like this one that was filed by Michael's lawyer, you can see all the forwarding info. Nothing on this because I didn't say Miller's to buy both gyms. I'm offered Miller's to buy both gyms. He can pay you less now and make a deal with you on his own. Yeah, I'm not writing that. And I didn't, but they filed it. Defendant has failed to refused to pay plaintiff. Refused. No, I just made a $10,000 payment. And let's see. On August 25th, I've got a loan. We're going to leave out the top of that page. And Michael's fully aware of that. And that is stated in his email. Very seriously, either sell your home or get a loan. And now that is on September 1st. So we go to court on the 20th. And I'm served that I've lost this gym on the 19th for failing to appear in court. And it's no longer mine and Michael owns it. And I owe him $55,500. After court, $66,000 is pushed through. And in final documentation for the WDC is $76,500. Not the $55,500. And this is to include Mr. Hirshon's lawyer fees, and they just continuously go up to $66,000, then it goes into $76,500. So this here, I go to court and I'm ordered in judgment is $26,960, not $50,000. After court, $137,000 is pushed through. $7,000 in Mr. Hirshon fees, $80,000 note for Wells, and a $50,000 note for Farmington, making it $135,000. Now this is Wells, so this shouldn't be in here. And then on the 21st, they pushed through the $66,000 here, which it was only $55,500, and they end up letting them have $76,500. Now on the date of the 20th, when I'm in there, I asked for a trial, and I asked for, I do not agree. This paperwork states I agreed to give Michael my gym. So he took this one, and apparently I gave him this one, but I fully have court transcripts, and I said I thought this was being sold. So since Michael had filed all this against me, stating I'm leaving the state, trying to sell my assets and not pay him with these fake emails, and I'm trying to sell my gym to Miller's, and that's not in our contract, that I'm not served court date. So I missed this one. After court here, I'm told I would get another court date to go over this. I never served anything because, well, now they don't have to because the rest of it's gone through. And November 1st, I have court, and I am allowed to get my lease and, my desk and my surveillance system, which Michael doesn't allow me to get. And I had until the 15th. But Miller's was in there on the 8th, and I was told I had until October 24th. But I really apparently had until the 15th. Now, After court, me and Michael sit down and agree, and him and his lawyer have me sign 2 things, all recorded, stating that this gym was sold for 400 grand, and me and Michael would be splitting it, and we would be done our way. After court, the 135, they pushed through 2 notes, which is a $25,000 loan that Michael loaned me. He invested in me, and the date is November 15th, 2021. He claims the same day I received a note for $73,000, a loan, another promissory note. It states here in Exhibit C used against me in court that promissory notes from borrower to lender, so from Michael to me, in the amounts of $73,000 and $25,000. I'm going to go over here. I signed 2 contracts, but I didn't actually sign this contract because it's not real, and this contract I didn't sign either. You are going to see my A's are looped. I do not loop my A's. I'm left-handed. I don't make my S that way. These are forged papers and contracts. I got to write the contract to my $25,000 loan because Michael called to invest in me. I'm going to go to some paperwork. Here's my bank statement. November 15th, 25,000, no 73. Here's September 1st of that year. He says, I have 1 loan for 25 grand. He says rent's 40,600, but in court it's 26,900. Here he's trying to tell me it's a bunch, and it's only 55.5. And let's see. Michael is fully aware in August that I have getting a loan for my house. I won't show all the paperwork because of names, and he even says to even sell my home or get a loan. So he's fully aware I'm doing that, and just to keep putting my money into his coffee shop or his businesses. So Michael fabricated all this while telling me I'm selling my gyms, and then pushed through an affidavit so I weren't served court dates, and then pushed through huge numbers. In court, I lost for 26.6, 55.5, plus lawyer fees, plus a $25,000 loan. You'll see here I have made a $14,000 payment total, and Michael, fully aware, I just gave him one was a $10,000 payment. I sold my car to make that work. Farmington, you can see here, this is Wells. I lost for 55.5. It's 134,305. Farmington was 26.9. Is now 165,054. And it shows that Miller's paid them $200,000, and that I still owe $99,000 now as of March. Now I don't owe $99,000. I've paid them. They've sold Farmington Gym and leased Wells. They charged me $25,000 in leasing fees to Miller's. They charged me $20,000 in damages. They charged me $5,000 in stolen items, which bring me to... Now this is off a transcript from court. Let me ask you this. This is Mr. Hirshon to me during recess. Would you consider signing over the equipment to Michael except for what we took out, and we would release you of any monies? So you launder the notes and the lease, and we can both part company. And I respond, I'd like to finish selling my gyms to Miller's just like agreed upon. Just like he, Michael, said, I'm selling the gyms to Miller's. So I'll take my pay and he can take his, and we'll split our ways. And then Michael says, well, how do I get mine? And I said that Miller's had made a post on the 11th that they were purchasing, going to be open on in 20 days. Now, if I'm led before court, they're telling me their lawyers and banks have everything, and we're just waiting on some paperwork to be signed. I think we're all done. After court, Michael says it's not his gym, just get the sale done, and we come up with an agreement. I sign 2 papers stating I think I'm selling the gyms to Michael. He says sign here, and I do, because that's what I'm led to believe. After court, a few next days, I'm not rushing because I think life's good or better with that part of my life, and I'm told he locks the doors early and doesn't allow me these things. When I'm taken back to court in August in 2023 for the deed of my house, Michael says, I go, I think it's 103,000, and he's like, no, 203,000. He goes, no, we received 100,000 from Miller's, and I go, no, the paperwork says you got two, and he's like, no, it was only one. And when I email Mr. Hirshon, it's all written out, and Mr. Hirshon tells me it's only 100 grand, because they don't want me to know they fabricated all these fees. So I pay 310,000 total on something that should have been 92,000, and then lawyer fees, so under 100,000. I have audio proving that we just received an email and someone was reading it, and we owe just under 100 grand. So how do I owe just under 100 grand, and then instantly it's 203, and there's fabricated loans I didn't receive. I didn't receive this $73,000 loan. I weren't trying to flee the state, not pay Michael. I was trying to get an attorney to fight him in other cases, and they subpoenaed my banks and froze them, and placed liens all over my properties, so I was unable to sell anything. So in court, they want me to sell my house to pay this deed, and if I don't do certain things in their agreement, they're taking my deed early. And so I can't sell it without a property manager, and you have to have a furnace to sell with a property manager, and I don't have a source of heat, so I can't. And not a realtor, I'm sorry. I can't sell it to a friend. I have to have insurance on it instantly. I have no money. I haven't had money for a year because you've frozen everything and taken everything away from me. So, and Michael has my desk. So I'm subpoenaed 4 years of everything, and he's got my desk with all my paperwork. So, and still does. And I don't care if I get the desk now. It's the paperwork that I needed in court. I needed it before then. And shockingly, I didn't get that or the surveillance systems. That he's fully aware of what's on them. But he made sure I didn't get them, which would have included October 11th visit, where we met and I signed over the coffee shop that he made me include. And we had come to an agreement, and this was all going to work out. And then after, they lead me to believe over the next few weeks, week, that this is a deal. And so if anyone can help me with an attorney for this, I will give you a % of my settlement. And I thank you for your time, and I hopefully explain this all right. It's hard. It's a lot to it. But I didn't owe all that money. Michael, I was fully aware I owed that money, and I just made a payment. And I was getting a house loan to pay him. He knew this. I was going to open a second coffee shop. I owned my home. I owned it outright. So going after it, on top of after he's already made 200,000, and he didn't have to sell any coffee shop. He took my trophies, he took my kids' toys, he took all my personal items, he took everything on the property from me, all my tools. He didn't have to sell any of that assets, and he still could go after my house and force the sale of the house so they could get their $99,000 that they claimed I still owed, which I didn't. There's theft. He says $5,000 in theft. He can't say what it is in court. But yet they push it through because I don't appear at the other court date or any other court dates. They claim I did $20,000 in property damage. I would have been served charges for that, but can't say. They say it's AC systems, but it's an old 16-unit place, and all the systems worked. It's now a 4-unit place, so you don't have all those. They didn't work. I made do with what I had, and I put all kinds of money in Michael's property, getting it up to new state codes because it was really outdated. That was kind of our deal. And then I didn't pay rent until I was open, and the coffee shop still wasn't even open because as of July 11th, Michael had received an email, and he knew I needed a July 11th. It was I needed electrical permits, but it could be done, and I sent him a list, and we were talking about a loan then, and so Michael's fully aware I'm trying to pay him. So when he states under oath, this is all under oath and some, made under oath, that has failed and refused to pay plaintiff. I'm not refusing to pay anybody. He's fully aware that I am trying to get him paid, and I've dumped my gyms for way less money just to make this work in this amount of time. And this will give me money to get a lawyer to fight other things in my life. So this is all fabricated, this loan, and I had to pay the rates. And let's just go over that rate on, they say a note amount of is $11,000. This is in 23 days. In $14,000. I end up paying a total of $1200. Oh, come on. In interest in 72 days. I'm paying $205. Miller's is, let's go over this real quick. Signs a new lease on Facebook. Miller's on November 8th signs a new lease with Michael, and they open on November 25th, but they're not paying Michael until December 31st, and I'm paying $250 a day in interest fees, and I paid $25,000 in leasing fees to Michael's lawyer. It shows over here the money should have been 11 and 4, and over here is 12 and 5, because every time they push something through, they push it through. Here's Miller saying they're opening. You know, hoping to be open, they're open. Then they go on to lease the Wells gym after, and they open down there. And Michael fabricated all these fees and to keep me quiet, and he hired certain people to work for him. And then when I got out, why wouldn't you have talked to me about running them? The only time he called was the jail was to see if I was getting out or not, and I was. So Michael knew I was meeting with a lawyer against this, and he made sure he froze every asset of me and led me to believe I was selling my gyms to Miller's, and then used it against me in court, fabricated emails. This allowed them to not serve me and push through fabricated contracts, loans. And then since I don't appear in court, everything can go through. So I pay $310,000 total, and Mr. Hirshon was $40,000 of that. So I paid a lawyer to beat me in court, who was knowingly pushing through contracts and then signing contracts with Miller's. I have all transcript, and I have all our meetings recorded between Michael and I, exposing that he had people switch my banking. He made sure it was off. So when I'm arrested, for some reason, I'm no longer getting my auto pays, so I don't get any money to bail out. So my banks were switched right after I was arrested, and Michael says, yes, she told me she switched them. So Michael had given people jobs, and then he was worried about if my banking was switched, and Michael is a dirty soul. So I just need some help with this, and hopefully someone can get me help me get an attorney and help expose all this. And this is, forgery, lied about contracts. You took my home. You've uprooted my life, my kids' lives. You've taken everything from me. I couldn't make any payments, so I lost my vehicle. That it put me in such financial debt. So I could put all my time and money into Michael's coffee shop, and he's fully aware of that, and Jim's properties. And Michael didn't seem to mind, and then out of nowhere it was a big issue, and so I sold my car and gave him some money, and he was fully aware. I just needed some money in the bank. I needed $5,000 in the bank, and I could have a $300,000 loan, and Michael would be paid instantly. And he knew this, and because I was going to do a food kitchen and another coffee shop in York, I was hoping. So Michael was fully knowing he was getting paid and having me spend my time there, and then in the end evicts me and it's not these fat numbers he's fabricated. He's trying to scare me, and then he pushes it all through, and I can show I didn't know that, and I can show I didn't receive that money, and I have full audio of him saying he gave me $25,000 for the coffee shop. Yep, yeah, he gave it to me. He called to invest in me, and I said that would be the smartest thing to do right now is finish the coffee shop, because that'll make great money. And he wanted to open a cannabis grow through my King's Cannabis Company, and I talked that down, and I said we need a store, and he told me he was looking for a storefront. So, I was led down a lot of roads, and then buried to keep quiet about it. So that's this case. Thank you for your time.